All right, everyone, we start off today with Trump's new platform planks. There are two of them. Well, there's two of major concern here that we're going to talk about. He does talk about more. First link in the description, by the way, is to the Rumble page that he has. Rumble being tied with Truth Social for video purposes, as well as from On Locals. She has been harassing her sister endlessly this morning, so I'm not dealing with that today. Poor kitty. She looks concerned. The first one is Freedomcities, the establishment of his Trump bills at a new American frontier. And the second is Babybonuses, which has to do with, I'm sure, enhanced tax credits and things like that, which is wildly popular when Biden proposes front-ending Trump's original policy, doubling the child tax credit, and then trying to claim credit for it. Yes, Biden's most popular policy to date was actually given to you by Donald Trump. So first link in the description is to the Rumble page, where you can hear Trump in his own words. The seconds are right up now. We're going to differentiate between what Trump actually says and what the legacy media actually reports with this archived article from CNN. They launch into him and say, well, here are his proposals. They're rather scant on details. Like, I don't know how he's going to build these freedom cities on federal land. He's talking about shrinking the budget. Where's the money going to come from? Well, you realize that there's more than one way to boil a chicken. I would say skin a cat, but, you know, I'm in polite company here. Well, polite company here, impolite company's off camera at the moment. Here's the thing. You simply create an economic zone in which people can come and build a house. They can invest in mining, lumbering, make an orchard, plant in, dig in, raise crops, again, mine lithium, mine whatever you want out of the earth, fuel and so forth, drill for gas. You create an economic zone, and that generates interest. People go there. They're taking advantage of the cheap, or in some cases, arguably free land. You could have another Homestead Act and chip away at some of those federal lands on the margins that are still arable and pleasant places to live. There's a huge number of them. And you can potentially create homes for millions of people without any public investment at all. The infrastructure can be created by the companies that would move in and by the people that would move in. People have been doing this on their own for a long time. You know, there are actually roads in parts of the world without a strong central government. They're probably maintained better than a lot of the roads in countries that are more bureaucratically regulated, just to be clear. Yeah, it's a decent concept. I don't know that it's necessarily, it's not exactly high-level priority. The concept sounds good. He also talks about flying cars. Well, you know, we want to be ahead of China in the tech race, so we need to develop flying cars. Well, they do exist. The problem is, again, hyper-regulating that, which you would probably need to do, may get messy. I'm not sure how efficient as a means of transport flying cars would be, although the idea is pretty cool when you think about it. Hey, we've got rooftop parking spots, so, you know, we can provide more greenery down below. And, you know, people don't need a driveway anymore. They have a helipad in their backyard. Sounds fun, a little bit sci-fi-esque, but it's, you know, physically capable of happening. We'll see where that leads. The second, and I think the more important policy, is baby bonuses. The idea of trying to spur on more population growth domestically, offsetting the need for illegal immigration to have a slave caste, which is what Biden wants and what the neolib WEF types want. They're really just exploiting people. It's not really about caring about the huddled masses. It's more wanting them to work in a basement in 12-hour shifts and stuff like that for sub-minimum wage, living in conditions that are barely better than the countries that in many cases they fled. Welcome to America. You're about to experience some of that freedom. Baby bonuses are a good idea. Again, I love it. Now, the Biden admin's most popular policy was just taking Trump's expanded child tax credit and front-ending it as a check instead of making it a write-off, a bottom-line deduction, which is the case. What this appears to be is an allusion to increasing that further, to increase the bonus that a person gets for having a child. Could be a tax reduction. Again, it could be back end. It could be increasing, you know, Biden's Trump knockoff tax credit that's front-ended. It could be something like that. I would like to see him introduce a policy to reward those who homeschool and pay them as though they were teachers, a marginal salary. Of course, average class size is 10 students. A teacher gets this much, so we take that salary, We divide it by 10, and that's the annual stipend that we'll give people to homeschool. We should be encouraging that more and more. We don't need a hyper-saturated workforce anymore anyway, with automation and AI rearing up. That's going to become a problem. Focus on child rearing. Make it easier for people. Eliminate the public school system practically, because it's useless at this point. I like the ideas that he's putting forth. They are scant on details. Again, I would note, though, that when other people in politics, Biden, when Obama would do this, even goddamn when Bush would do stuff like this, when a policy is proposed initially, it tends to be scam. It's not fully fleshed out. It's an idea locked in a place in time that represents an idea that the politician has that they think is a good idea. So, again, baby bonuses, freedom cities, whatever the hell it happens to be. You're not going to flesh it out right away unless you're stupid. Some politicians do this. You look at the 999 plan or some of Andrew Yang's proposals. They saturate people with too much information about the policy right up front, and only the politically minded actually go through the details. So someone like me, because it's part of my job, I have the time to sit there and go through the 30-line proposal that someone happens to have. Most people don't. Most people don't even read the first paragraph of the news articles that they claim are educating them. They click on them, they read a couple of sentences, they click out. That's the average time frame that a person has to absorb information. You have to keep things simple. It's not through ignorance, though. In most cases, it's just they don't have the fucking time. Some of them don't have the inclination. They're not so into that deep detail. They want to look at the idea, say yay or nay, the idea basically sounds good. Somebody else works out the details. It's basically how most of the population operates. So good planks. Again, you should get these things from Trump himself when possible on Rumble. Some of you use Truth Social. There's a tie into locals and so forth, that whole nexus of content creation. You can read the legacy media write-ups, but you will notice a differential between what Trump says and how it is presented, how it is interpreted or misinterpreted by the legacy media. Probably the most fascinating part of it as well. Of course, he's released other planks lately. There's an upcoming CPAC stream, of course, with Trump. It's funny, I liked the other day when some of the leftist craptoids were pretending, well, CPAC is empty. Yeah, in between speakers, people go to the bathroom and so forth. This happens at political rallies, too. They used to try to do this with Trump rallies as well. They would take a shot that was an hour before Trump actually physically arrived and say the arena's half empty and stupid shit like that. Meanwhile, they tried to argue that, what's his name down there, the Beto O'Rourke, that he had more people at his El Paso rally competing with Trump's that time. Of course, if you look through the details, you found out that wasn't remotely the case. But this is the lies by omission and by structure that the legacy media gives us. Good planks, maybe not primo like A-grade import. I would like to hear more about his border policies and things like that. He initially started off with censorship as a topic in 230. That hit all the marks for me. That secured in my mind my belief that I'm hoping that Trump becomes nominee and I get a chance to vote for him again. This is, well, baby bonuses sound good because I got a child, so that might help me. Hey, if you double the child tax credit again, that would be helpful. It would absorb some of the loss from Bidenflation. Go ahead and do that. Just propose giving people more freebies and, out-Democrat the Democrats. I noticed that Trump seems to be the only one in the room with the strategic sense not to say that he wants to axe or cut Social Security. Even though some of those lines are misinterpreted, you shouldn't meander into that topic, Republicans. It's not usually the greatest idea. You've got Trump outclassing most of the members of his party right now. Why do you think that McCarthy and Ronna McDaniels and Paul Ryan aren't showing up for CPAC this year? I fucking wonder why. That's about all. Peace out.